Hi everyone, welcome back to another guitar tutorial. In today's video, we're going to be having a look at the relationship between a minor pentatonic scale and its tonic minor chord. So if you're new to improvising or it's something you've been doing for a little while but you're looking to kind of take it on to the next step, looking at the relationship between the notes that you're playing within the scale and the chord that you're playing over is really crucial to kind of creating good sounding melodies and getting more expression into your guitar playing. So I'm going to show you how the intervals within the scale relate to the chord, and we're also going to really explore something that's crucial to great melodies, which is tension and release and how to create that. We're going to be in the key of B minor, so we're going to have a look first of all at the B minor pentatonic scale. So for those of you that don't already know, it's the 7th and 10th fret on the low E string, the 7th and 9th fret on the A string, 7th and 9th on the D string, 7th and 9th on the G string, 7th and 10th fret on the B string, and the 7th and 10th fret again on the high E. And that gives us the notes B, D, E, F sharp, A, B again, D, E, F sharp, A, B, and finally D. So it's important also to think about what intervals they are relative to the root note B. So in a minor pentatonic scale, we actually get, aside from the root of course, we've got a minor third, which is the note D, a perfect fourth, a perfect fifth, they're the notes E and F sharp, a minor seventh, which is the note A, and then we get to our octave, and then the notes repeat themselves after that. That's going to be really important when we look at the chord and the relationship between those, because we really want to kind of train ourselves to hear the sound of these certain intervals against the chord that we're playing over. We'll come to that a bit more in a second. So the next thing we want to be looking at is our regular B minor bar chord. So we're just going to take our normal B minor bar chord shape. So that's a bar across the 7th fret and then the 9th fret of the A and the D strings, giving us our E minor shape B minor chord. So if we superimpose the chord shape over the top of the scale, we can see that this chord is actually made from notes found within the scale. It's actually made from the root, the 3rd and the 5th note. So the root, the minor 3rd and the 5th, which is the notes B, D and F sharp, and that gives us our B minor triad. In this case, we've got B, F sharp, B, D, F sharp, and B again. So I've got a looper here with just a B minor chord in it. So I'm going to play that, and then I'm going to play the scale, and I want you to listen carefully to how the notes in the scale relate to the chord. Okay, so we'll do that first, and then we'll explore it a bit further. So just a B minor chord. Here's the scale. So hopefully you can hear there that none of those notes actually sound wrong. It's just that some sound stronger against the chord than others. Some kind of sound more resolved and some kind of create a little bit more tension. And it's that's really crucial in creating great melodies. You'll find that the notes that are found within the triad that we just talked about, so the B, the F sharp and the D notes, are all the strongest sounding, most resolved sounding notes to play over that chord. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just play a couple of phrases over the top of that backing, and I'm going to land my phrasing all on those particular notes, just so you can hear how resolved and how strong they sound against the chord, okay? So here we go. That's the root note. And again. That's the 5th, the F sharp. That's a root. That's the D, the minor 3rd. Higher up now. Root again on top. There's the 5th. 5th again. And back to the root. So hopefully you can hear there that all those notes sound really good with the chord. Each one has a different flavour to it. It provides a different kind of feeling towards it, and that's another really important aspect of this. You know, you want to kind of listen to how those intervals interact with the chord, and experiment with the ones that you like the sound of the most and perhaps the ones that you don't like so much. And that's really going to help give you your own voice when you're doing this kind of thing. But if we look at the other two notes, so that's 3 notes covered really within a scale, but we've got 2 more. We've got the note A, which is our minor 7th, and we've also got the note E, which is the perfect 4th interval. Now these 2 notes will do a specific job, and they're very, very important. And their job is basically to create a bit of tension against the chord. So the most tense of these notes really is going to be the 4th, the note E. This is the note that probably, in my opinion at least, in this scale sounds the least resolved sounding note. It doesn't really sound bad, but it's the least resolved sounding, and I'll demonstrate that to you now. So if I land specifically on that E, that's going to be here at the 9th fret of the G string. So you can hear it's not really wrong, but it really wants to move. Back to a root note maybe, or a 5th. So you can hear there that that note doesn't sound particularly terrible, but it's certainly unresolved. It doesn't sound like it kind of belongs with the chord. It has a pull that wants us to move somewhere else, to either the root note or the 5th, basically the next note in either direction in the scale. That usually will resolve to a chord tone. And so we can use that to our advantage by knowing that that is the note that creates the tension. When we want to create good melodies, we can create that tension and then release that tension, and we know that we're doing that. It's not by luck, we're doing it because we know that's how it's going to sound. So finally we're going to have a look at the minor 7th interval. Now this is the note A in the key of B, and this is actually found within a minor 7th chord, so it's not particularly unresolved, this one. A little higher in the higher octave. It's actually a really nice sound, but it is a little bit more tense than the triad that we talked about earlier. So it's not the root, the 3rd and the 5th. Hasn't got as strong a pull as those 3 notes within our minor triad, but it is found within a chord, and it's a really nice sounding note to kind of aim for. So I'll just do a couple of phrases again, aiming for that minor 7th. You'll still hear that it does want to pull away, but you can definitely hang on it a bit longer and create some cool sounding phrases. So let's give that a go. So now we've looked at all the intervals within the scale, and we've looked at how they relate to the chord that we're playing over. Also visually, we've seen how the chord superimposed over the scale can be a really strong way of viewing the fretboard, really helps you to see where all the strongest chord tones and the resolution points are. And we've also looked at which notes create the most tension and which ones create that release from that tension. So that's going to hopefully help you to really create some really interesting sounding melodies that sound like they're meant for the chord that you're playing over. You can of course extend this idea to other chords within the key, and apply the same logic to a different type of chord progression. Really the kind of the overall thing to take from this is that if you explore this a bit further and you just have a single chord and you look at the relationship between the notes that you're playing in the scale, simple minor pentatonic scale, and the chord that you're playing over, you can really have a little bit more control over the types of melodies and the types of phrases that you actually create. So that's it for today. I really hope you enjoyed that and found that useful. If you did, please give the video a like and consider subscribing to the channel for more regular guitar videos, and I shall see you in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.